Wednesday, September 24th, market analysis. Stan Ehrlich, good afternoon. 1:32 California time, and we always start out with the stock market indexes, go to futures and some other items like securities. We got four of them we cover lately for quite a while, a few months, several. And other commentary like my commentary about the October lows. For over 90% of the time during the whole history of the SPY since 1993, the S&P 500, which of course is the ES and the MES and anything that correlates closely with the SPY, the S&P, has created a significant buying opportunity in October. Now, some of these buying opportunities are, well, maybe a little iffy. They're not real super profound. They're not a big deal. It looks like a minor downside technical reaction in a bull trend. But many of these October lows are whoppers. They're big break, substantial, several weeks, maybe even a couple of months into October, turnaround somewhere during the month, could be the first, the last, middle. I don't know yet. Obviously, the averages would get you in the middle. And then we bounce for a couple of months back up again. And during this time, I have frequently gotten bullish engulfing ER buy signals. They turn red, much similar to the one we had back on April 9th of this year. That was a great one. That is exactly what I'm expecting, or something even better. And that would be the lowest low for the October time frame to the day, and straight back up again. Now, this went pretty much not straight, but up again. There was a 1 week correction, but it didn't kill the trade. It didn't violate any rules. It just was a little bit more than one would expect. But that's exactly what I'm looking for, or something close to it. There could be two. There could be three green during a week or two. We could develop a trading range bottom of some sort. It could end up being a spike bottom or exhaustion weakness situation. A wide variety of things could develop for a bottom, but that's my job, to look for it and call it for you. Now, to the indexes at the moment. A little down day, it wasn't that big a deal. 2.5 points, something along those lines. For the SPY, yeah, and of course its affiliates, its kids, so to speak. So we do have a new low and a lower close for now 2 days in a row. And the new low is a new low for the last 3 days for the MES. Great. Not super good. I really want to close, just to start with, below 66.06, let's call it. Well, below the low, exactly 66.11. A close below that would make me very happy, and it probably would happen pretty damn quickly in just a day or two or three. And I don't know if that's immediately in front of us or not in the cards at all. But so far, what's happened is we got quite overbought. I pointed out the fact that it got up into the 80s. Some of them got pretty close to 90. And when I get to 90 or higher, I start screaming bloody murder that the market is about to turn down within hours or a day or real soon. So the last time we got up into that RSI overbought condition, we topped out for a week. The time before that, it went a little bit lower, but lower for a short period of time. That wasn't very good. And for 1 day top, it went down for several days. And then we were there overbought for a couple of weeks, and it went down modestly well. But that's only the last 4 times. This is now the 5th time, a little bit more significant because of how many days we've been overbought. And that commentary I've just said applies to the indexes in a general sense. So far, so good. I think it topped out 2 days ago. What next? For the SPY or MES, the minimum downside is going to be 65.70. But that is expected very highly. The really important one is going to be the support level at 63.03, 303, 304. let's call it 6,300. Getting below that is going to make the market go down quite a bit more and quite a bit faster. That's my expectation. Here's the next chart. And we got the 1 minute data coming down pretty good for now 2 days. Next, the QQQ overbought. I didn't get any sell signals. Coming down okay. New low for previous 3 days. Lowest close for the last previous 3 days. No reversals, unfortunately. We came very close to a bearish engulfing, but not quite. RSI was quite overbought at around 686. Next, the QQQ 1 minute. It rallied on the close. I should squeeze this here to the right. But the bigger picture is it just simply topped out, turned around, started to drop, continued to drop today. Nothing super dramatic. QQQ 1 minute, same thing. We've got, did I have 2 minute 1Qs on there for a second? Well, let's go to the NASDAQ. So about the same story. Overbought, no bearish engulfing, nothing going on there. What happened to my SPY? That seems to have disappeared. I should have had SPY right after MES here. And those two charts disappeared. At this point, I'm very sorry, but I want to mention SPY did have a bearish engulfing ER sell signal yesterday, and it came down quite a bit today with the MES, ES, and is working. So that is the only red ER sell signal. You'll see it tomorrow. Things are working out, but they're not coming down very fast, very furiously, which I would have loved and may still be right in front of us. Not sure yet. It's not going in the wrong direction. That's the important part. We see a sharp break at the end of yesterday on the MNQ, and also a continued break today. What about YM? Overbought for the first time in only 1 day yesterday, and it started to come down somewhat today. This is a new low closing price for about 3.5, let's call it 3 days at least. And a new low almost for more than 1 day. It's only a new low for 1 day. And the 1 minute chart looks very similar to the others, starting to break down yesterday and followed through basically today. So, Russell, major historical resistance area that I've been talking about, well, probably years, and I did get overbought. Unfortunately, no bearish engulfing sell signal. Too bad. But it's starting to break down. This is a new low close for the Russell for the previous 4 days. Next, Russell 1 minute chart. Let's squeeze it. And we see a breakdown and a little breakdown. What about the bond market? This has been doing peachy keen. We had a bearish engulfing ER sell signal on 9/17. Big down day the next day. Perfect. A little more the next day on Friday of last week. This has now been 1 full week since that signal. On Monday of this week, we closed a little lower again with another new low and no new highs day by day. Finally, yesterday, we made it a little higher than Monday, closed a little higher on the day. But today, we made a new high again, not violating any rules, not much of a rally, and then closed lower. We almost had a bearish engulfing. In fact, I'm not sure. Today's low was 1605. Yesterday's low was the exact same price. Too bad, missed by a tick. But we do have a bearish engulfing on the notes. They also had a sell signal Wednesday of last week. Worked out great. Good again on Monday. Bounced on Tuesday. And a new low close below previous lows today for the notes. Great. Doing a little bit better than bonds. Both of them. Next, crude. Support has held. We've now made a new high and a new high close for a couple, 3 weeks. I think it's going to at least attack and probably get above 65.71. Oh, I would expect a rally maybe up to 69-ish. We're not too far from overbought. If you get that high in a several-day period, you'll probably be overbought again. Mildly friendly for crude at the moment. Now, this is a bit of a surprise. Natural gas gapped up substantially today and has a new high closing price for the last month and a half, almost 2 months. But today's high is almost exactly the same as the previous rally high, which was overbought on 9/8. We're not overbought yet. Was this some kind of a knee-jerk reaction to new news or rumor or something like that? I really don't know. But we left a big gap behind. I'll now put a marker in there so we are not going to miss it. And how could you? And there we go. So that's our little zone to come back into soon, especially since we're right smack at a little resistance at today's highs. I think soon we're going to be back down here. Otherwise, there's a chance it could go up as high as 3.4, and then turn down to close the gap. So, heating oil, rock in a hard spot, sideways trading range, support held quite a while ago, a month ago, at oversold conditions, I should say. So, maybe a little bit higher. Gold, overbought, starting to bend over a little bit, coming down today. Probably drip off a little bit more. Really can't be sure. The important level to watch for, though, is 36.58. If it closes significantly below that, then you're more likely than not going to work its way down to 35.35. Meanwhile, it could just drop to a little bit lower in the next couple of days, hold in this ballpark of 37.15 and turn right back up. Next, silver. So I'm modestly friendly on gold, even though I think it'll dip off a little bit. Silver, same commentary. Just look at where it topped out before. Use those as support levels. Important that we don't close below 41.07. Below that, you're probably going to drop off a chunk more. Platinum, up against major important previous highs, stopped cold turkey yesterday. I talked about that. Just because it's very strong, closes at its highs, does not mean it's going to go straight up the next day. Opened lower, bounced a bit, dropped off new lows, closed back about where it opened, which was down a bit on the day. Not a lot. If I'm going to get bearish, I got to break down probably at least a 13.440, 42 ballpark. This could bottom out on a bit more of a dip. It might get back down to 1375-ish. It's overbought still. Deserves a little downside dip. Also pay attention to this bear trend line across the top of a previous pennant. That would be a classic spot for it to stop. Also, the little yellow line here, the horizontal, at a modest support area. Next. Hey, copper finally poked its head out of the ground. New high close since the crash, which was back at late July. We're almost through with September. You know, there's only 4 days left, trading days. So up to a resistance level of 4.99, and maybe a little more, but I don't think this is going to rally. This rally is going to last very long. In fact, all of a sudden, it's overbought today. That's all it took to get overbought is one big up day. At any point now, turn down. The trend is down. This, I think, is simply a short-term rally high, probably. Neutral to lower, but maybe a little higher first. Grains, we got soybeans, oil meal, corn, wheat. I'm trying to justify a bottom. Got oversold yesterday. Did not make a new lows today. Nice. Closed a little higher. Around unchanged. Made a higher high. We need to get above the resistance area, and the next real upside breakout is above 1062. Let's see if she can stay strong. Next. Almost the same comment for soybean oil, but we hit support and oversold. Higher high, closed around unchanged. I think it's turning back up. The major breakout to the upside would be closing above 57.80, but there's barriers on the way up. Let's see if it's going to rally more. Not sure. Meal oversold 2 days in a row, still slipping a bit. No comment, except oversold means it's likely to rally. Corn, trend is up, came back to support, did hold on Monday. A little better yesterday, a little slip today, but a higher high also. I'd love to see it closed above 431 too. That would be nice. We still have a gap to close up here, 440 and a half. Still friendly, looking for 440 and a half plus. Next, did we bottom out yesterday in wheat? I don't know. Wasn't oversold, wasn't a bullish engulfing. All we had was a big down day. Looks like a little exhaustion weakness and a big recovery after a slight new low today. It would have been nicer to have a bullish engulfing, but this looks interesting. We really have to close above 536 to get an upside breakout, then probably getting up to 556. Next, Shell, told you about support, bounced off of it, climbing still, rocking a hard spot. Maybe it'll get back up to 73-ish. We did get overbought and starting to work its way lower a little bit yesterday, a little bit more today in Apple. There is the gap to close. I pointed it out the day the gap happened. That low should be a little bit higher. Okay, that's more like it. So let's come down to close the gap at around 246.10-ish. Next, Tesla. I can say basically the same thing, but Tesla did close strong, almost a new high, but it's still overbought. And new highs in price and no new high in the indicator at this point is divergence. So at any moment, it could start to slip. How far? Well, at least to close the gap at 397. But I wouldn't be surprised to see it back to 368. And NVIDIA. Boy, that touched that resistance area just perfectly. I talked about not quite being strong enough on strength. Don't think it's going to go up the next day just because it went up a lot today. There's other circumstances to be concerned about. This is exactly one of them. Turned down substantially yesterday and follow through to the downside a little bit more today. I think it's going to come back to support, as I talked about before, which is about 170.5 to maybe 164.70-ish. Soon. Now. Next. You guys have a great day and profitable trading to you.